Hello and welcome to Rise and Shine. I am Alissa, the consultress, your host and connoisseur of all things wonderful people. Inside of this format, I invite some of my very favorite and brightest stars in my sky that help to guide me where I'm going, what I'm up to, and they are friends and resources and other amazing folks that I'm happy to bring out here to the world so you can have a peek behind the curtain and just watch the amazing conversations that I get the privilege of having on a damn near daily basis. So today I want to bring to you my very, very wise and wonderful woman friend, Deanne from Healthy by Heart. Welcome, rise and shine, Deanne.
Rise and shine for sure. Well, thank you for having me on. And yes, it's bright and early where I am in California.
Right on. And it's always bright and sunny when we get together because Deanne, we have had such a history of having deep conversations, especially I say in these evolutionary times, having the ability to think through things and the ability to kind of take stock and be the decider of your own destiny. Like I have found that to be one of the core strengths of the conversations that we've had in the past, to really look at things with truthful eyes.
And it's a beautiful thing that we have that foundation of trust and safety, that I can just notice what comes up for me and just say it, and it's okay. And actually not only is it okay, but it's the right thing. It's brilliant. It's the right step to move forward in the way that we need to move forward. And I just trust that process now. It's lovely to have people like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So if you'll see behind me, I didn't, which way is it? This way. I didn't blur my background for this specifically because, these are my people. I've got always a collection of people who challenge me, inspire me, uplift me. I have some of my daughter's artwork up here and some sayings, my degree, and some of the things that I do to keep myself on track and inspired in my business. So I'm actually welcoming you into my home today. So I'm so very glad to be with you in your green space.
Yeah,
I want you to be lover of life in all things plant and animal. How does that bring joy into your life?
Well, looking at your background, then I'm thinking of my own, right? I mean, like you said, I have plants all around. I have plants up here and in front of me. So where I'm looking out, I look at my street, but I have flowers hanging in the window outside, but I've got bamboo here. I've got plants everywhere. And then I have my my vision board here. And, I've got my wonderful new saying that I have. I just keep my reminders around me as well. But I love the fact that you have the photos of your people around. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah. That was the first.
Yeah.
That was the first thing my daughter did for me when we moved out of the house. She was like, I did something for you. She'd give me a mural and she made me a sign, Mom's office.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So everywhere I look, I have it's like a twinkling universe of things that wink at me, from this person who painted the picture in front of me, and this award over here, and my people and who helped me. So tell me a little bit about how you feel when you're inside of this environment that you've created for yourself. I call this my command center because I feel like I drop into my seat of love and powerful embodiment here. How do you feel? What does your environment do for you over there?
And that's a really good question, because I have kind of forgotten about it lately. And thank you for bringing it back to my awareness, because it's too easy to get used to the same thing every day and we forget, and we drop basically out of gratitude and appreciation for what I have created. And I'm looking around this room. I am in the front room of my house. So it's not ideally an office. Like somebody steps into my house, they're stepping right into my office. So it's not like a welcoming living room. I don't entertain a lot. And this was the best room that I wanted for my house, for my office space, because I wanted the plants. And this is the only room in the house that gets enough indirect light around that I can grow plants well and easily. And that way I get to look out at the street. I see the kids playing, or I see when the mailman comes, or, that we might get interrupted with some truck from the garbage truck that's going to be picking up the trash soon.
Bright and early.
Exactly. But looking around, it's like I have that Marianne Williamson quote on the wall, you know, our deepest fear. And like I said, my bamboo plants, I've got beautiful things all around. And surrounding yourself with the environment now, because I'm so used to it and it's been set this way easily for 3 years or more, I have become used to it. But boy, when you have an environment that is not supportive, you sure notice it. And having an environment that supports what you need is absolutely essential, because even if you think, well, it's just a little mess and I'm not, you know, I can ignore it, I can just push it out of my mind, it's always playing in your subconscious that there's something to do, there's something nagging, there's something that's not right. And when we have this environment set up, it's just, you know, all systems go, and we aren't weighted down and encumbered by the bad environment. So but thank you for reminding me that this environment is incredibly supportive and I love it. I'm happy to get to my desk every morning and select my mug for the day.
Yeah. I mean, and isn't the mug part of it too? It's like having something that you like the texture of or the colors inside of. For me, having something smooth but textured, like I don't like in the front here, this Rise and Shine, although it is badass, it's a little bit rough textured, so I fill the rest of the mug. And even the lighting, right? I wanted to have plants in here, but they don't thrive in here. So the rest of my house, for me, having plants is a reminder to stop and be still. A long time ago, before I met my husband, I didn't want pets, I didn't want animals, I didn't want anything living to take care of, because I'm like, caring for me was enough. And then I became a wife and mother and business owner, and boy, did that shift quite a bit. That mental and emotional environment just was like, but my husband's really great at growing things and tending and caring for people and animals. And that has brought such joy and richness to my life. So for me, like the philodendrons, they were my first plant that I realized I can't kill these things. They're
right.
I'm like, I see you, plant. I identify with you, you know?
Right. That's beautiful. And this is my latest mug. I picked this up when I was in Italy. Actually, I picked it up because it was beautiful and my daughter bought it for me. Oh. And so this is kind of a memory of my trip that I was visiting my daughter just, you know, a few weeks ago in Italy. And this is an artist that's, I guess they're kind of big in Italy, this company, and they're hand painted. And they only had one, or I would have bought a few to give out to friends, even though they're not great to travel with. But, and it says inside, there's a little saying and says, basically loosely translated, the home is where you find the heart.
Ah,
and
can you
I love
read
that.
it in Italian?
It's handwritten, it's cursive. And so there's some letters I can't quite tell. Is that an L? But let's say le case leva si trova il querve.
Okay, so la casa è dove trovi.
Trova.
Dove si trova what's the last word?
Querve, heart.
Ah, il cuore. Yes, dove si trova il cuore. Sì, io parlo italiano, mio padre è da Pisa in Italia. Ho cugini in questo tempo a Pisa. So, ciao cugini, I'm going to share this with them and they're going to be like, woo! Yeah, my father actually had a saying that he made for his home in the forest, and it said, si trovi la pace nel bosco. It's like you find, he wrote, trovi la pace dentro nel bosco, like you find inner peace when you're in the woods. And to me, that's like the plant essence that's in my home there. It's that, oh my goodness.
You have to write that down for me, and I'm gonna put that up here. I love it.
Yes, I will send you a photo of this. It was a hand-carved piece of driftwood that he engraved and then colored the letters or painted the letters in gold, gold or black. Anyway, it's, you know, for me, it's the essence of my dad's living legacy. It's like being one and connected with nature and living life full out, you know?
Right. And what better way, in my mind anyway, to say it in Italian? I had been to Italy like literally close to 40 years ago, and I was only in Venice for a day. You know, I didn't see the whole country, and even this trip, I didn't see the whole country by any means, but I saw enough to really see the difference of Italy between other European countries.
Mm.
And wow, they have it down. They have it, they love life, they're enjoying life. I mean, Europeans in general have a better work-life balance and they really prioritize living, but the Italians, they definitely do it. And even
Yeah.
their language is that it's much more sing-songy and happy, and it was just, it was beautiful. So embodying that in that saying that you've just said in Italian, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put that up here.
Si trova la pace dentro nel bosco.
Oh,
So also there was a period in my life where I was visiting Italy, and I think I was like 27 years old. It was our last family trip there, where we kind of begged my father, hey, we know that we're not tourists. We get that. We're here to see family, but we want to see Venice. Like, can we go, please?
yeah.
And driving up north on the highways, or the roads that wind through the mountains, I got this spiritual download that came to me in Italian. And it's been one of the most profound, like, driving simplicities of my life. Is and it came through in the following: più domande ci sono, meglio è e meglio sarà, which means the more questions there are, the better it is and the better it can become.
Oh,
So in life, looking for answers and finding like the answer, you're missing the juice. You're missing the richness if the
right.
answer is the thing that matters to you. Because when you open up an inquiry and you become curious, that's where the better it can get comes from.
Wow, chills. Oh, that's beautiful. That's amazing. That to receive that driving through reminds me of a time when I was sailing years ago with my husband, and we were, when you're out in the middle of the ocean, you can't just like go to sleep. You have to do watches because there's, you know, freighters and other things out there that you don't want to hit. And so we would do watches, and it was my watch, and it was probably around between 3 and 4 a.m. and that was my favorite time to be on deck, and it was not a good time for his circadian rhythm. So it worked out perfect for me that I was always on like the 1 to 6 a.m. shift kind of thing. And it was probably 3 or 4 a.m. and you can tell that the world is starting to come alive, because, you know, that it's not light, but the sun isn't far from coming up, you know, and things are just enlivened. And it was a beautiful, steady day. The swells were consistent. It was, you know, calm winds, and the phosphorescence in the water was unbelievable. So as we're cutting through, this just glowing everywhere. There's no moon, and so the sky is dark, but the stars, I've never seen, I mean, there's zero light pollution at all. So the amount of stars is just staggering. And it was such an overwhelming spiritual experience. I did not get a download of, you know, words like you did, but I felt in that moment, it was not even, it wasn't just being loved and supported, but I felt completely as one with the universe, totally part of it, part of this field. It was like I could see the field, the geometric shapes, and it's just part of it. And just being on this wooden vessel and just flowing through the water, it was just such an overwhelming spiritual experience that I revisit often in my memory, because I'd love to experience it again, and that's the way I can.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's when you step into moments like that and you're gifted with that, you know, that download that you experienced, boy, we realize that we are small, tiny, infinite at the same time creatures of this field and this planet, and it's all infinite possibility.
Yeah. And isn't it cool, like that, looking at your vision board over there, and isn't it cool that we get to select the things where we focus our attention? Because out of all this infinity, you know, we're the architects.
Right. Anything is possible, and we're simply a filter just by our own preferences and our own genius that we bring, and our own talents. So we're basically the filter of this conduit that can create whatever.
Yeah. And that's, to me, that's what, where true health comes from. I feel like that's the baseline, right? That's the way, that's the place where we can tune
Absolutely.
in. So can you say more about that?
That's totally my feeling as well, and that's just not mine. I mean, lots of people are validating this, and there's lots of studies that show, not that we need to go to the studies, right? We know intuitively that when we're in flow, when we're in alignment, you're removing resistance. And what is disease? So-called disease, it's a resistance of some sort. The body knows how to heal, the body knows what to do, just get out of the way. And it's the resistance that we create either with our mind or by the choices we make or by other things that we're exposed to, chemicals or EMFs, etc. This is what's creating that resistance. But when we step into that flow, all systems go. And when we as humans get out of our own way and really recognize and not be scared off by our genius. Again, that's why I have that Marianne Williamson quote of, our deepest fear. And can you not hear me okay?
Can you read the whole quote for me?
Oh, of the Marianne Williamson quote? Yeah. I can't see it quite from my desk, but I have a beautiful framed. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Isn't that beautiful? And we forget because we get caught up in society of what we should be, what culture says, how we should look, how we should be as a mom, as a business person, in the community, how much we should give, how much we, of ourselves, right? And how much we overgive ourselves to the point where we have nothing left over for ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I needed to hear that today. Thank you.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. Yeah. And giving from a place of empty in hopes that it will fill you up is a little bit upside down. Giving from a place of fueling yourself and paying attention and loving yourself is one of the biggest fuelings of generosity and of connection and of giving, right? I forget where I heard it this week, but that, without receiving, giving has nowhere to go. So in order to be able to enjoy giving, you have to also be willing to receive.
Right. It's all reciprocal. It's like, can you imagine the tide rising and never dropping ever? It just rises and rises and rises and rises. What's happening on the other side where the tide's dropping, right? It's all an ebb and flow. It all has to go back and forth. And we cannot resist it. And when we do, and we do as humans, and this is exactly the point of being out of flow, out of the laws of nature, which result in being ill at ease or dis-ease.
Right on. So do you have any words of wisdom for people who are looking to be more healthy and with heart and soul?
I have so many.
Yeah.
But we'll keep it simple to the very basic. And that is, we think in terms of like, oh, what could I not live without? Well, there's really very few things. We can live without a lot, right? But there's very few things that we really can't. And one of them is breathing, air, oxygen. We really can't go very long without oxygen. And if we just pay attention, and once again, it's kind of like that ebb and flow and the tide rising and falling. It not just has to come in, but it has to go out. And just paying attention to, and really mindfully paying attention, breathing down deep into the bottom of the lobes of the lungs. And by doing so, you breathe into your belly. So your belly is expanding out, which means your diaphragm moves down, which allows the open space for your lungs to fill up more. And then that diaphragm moving down assists in digestion and all kinds of things. So the proper breathing is the very foundation of good health. And it calms us. And we often think, oh, take deep breaths if you're have anxiety or something. Not necessarily, because deep breaths can agitate and stimulate the mind. So take in that deep breath, but then hold it. Hold it. And then it's that carbon dioxide exchange as well. We forget about that other gas. It's not just oxygen, it's carbon dioxide, and it's the flow, it's in and out. So just paying attention to the breath, filling up the lungs as much as you can and holding it, and then releasing it. And you can't go wrong paying attention to the breath.
No, you can't. And it feeds the plants, right?
Yeah,
like they're
right.
exchanging with us because we're their oxygen. We're their analogy for taking in oxygen, but they take in our CO2 and they give us back oxygen. So I love that, this ebb and flow is ever present in this conversation, and it's everywhere. Like what you see in one place, like you can find it literally everywhere. So I want to just mention, when I first learned about breath control, one of the pieces that I had the most difficulty with, and this may help somebody along the way, was holding my breath open. Felt a lot like when I was trying to hold my breath underwater with holding my throat closed. And that, to me, once I learned to hold open the lungs with the muscle of the diaphragm, instead of having to close off and resist what was wanting to come out, once I learned to hold it this way rather than to capture it up top, it changed the game.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. And it's just paying attention and learning different techniques. And it's not rocket science. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So what is it that you are working on lately that we can have people come to you that you're looking to share out here in the world?
I am working once again. I kind of, get on it, get off it, get on it. But I'm on it again about my next book on the myth of the work-life balance. And at the same time, I'm going to be doing it's probably going to be 7 or 8 week mastermind around that. So for anybody who has that feeling of they don't have work-life balance in their life and they're really trying to get some semblance of balance and satisfaction in their life, that's what this is all about. And I haven't laid it all out yet, but it's probably going to be 7 or 8 weeks.
Beautiful. And is your website healthybyheart.com the best place to find you?
Yep.
Amazing. So as we wrap here, Deanne, as always, I never know which way the wind's going to blow, but I always get such value from hanging out with you and from being together and seeing what comes forth. So I'm going to let all of you be encouraged. If you've got a friend that you haven't spoken to in a while, or someone that when you do speak, it's like no time has passed,
right?
Now's the time to call them or get on a Zoom call with them. Now is the time in these evolutionary times where connection is king.
Yes, absolutely.
Drop in.
Community is everything.
Heck yes. So thanks a million for being part of mine and for being here and for sharing your wealth of knowledge and love with everyone out there who's going to come across this piece. And in the meantime, you know where to find us. You have my social and you have Deanne's website. Please do get in touch. We're here to make a difference. We want to engage and have conversations. So come find us and come play. See you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.